Greater Dayton RTA's COVID-19 Ridership Impact Analysis for GIS Day 2020. The RTA, much like the rest of the Dayton region, has been significantly impacted by the spread and responses to the COVID-19 pandemic. This analysis was conducted to determine the impact of COVID-19 on RTA ridership in terms of changes in ridership levels throughout the system, as well as shifts in bus stop usage. This analysis focuses on ridership data from RTA's fixed route service and doesn't include data from RTA Connect services or limited stop service, LS, school services, as these are being examined separately. Weekday daily average boardings for all fixed route stops was analyzed for different service periods, specifically those prior to and during the pandemic up to October 8, 2020. Saturday and Sunday services were determined to have been similarly impacted when compared to weekday service, thus why they are not included in this presentation. The last service period before the COVID-19 impact was the September 2019 service period, which ran from September 29th to February 15th. During this period, ridership was only down slightly from the previous year. During the February 2020 service period, the state of Ohio began taking measures to reduce the spread of COVID-19 on March 16th. In response, RTA ended LS service as the schools had been closed for the remainder of the 2019-2020 school year. Weekday daily average boardings were down 19.5% from the September 2019 service period. Reductions in ridership became most prevalent on Main Street, Salem Avenue, and Brown Street, as well as downtown Dayton and RTA transit centers. This map demonstrates the service change differential of weekday daily average boardings between those two service periods. In previous years, service changes in January or February would typically be in effect until early June. The reason for this change in service was the early end of the school year. The LS service needed to be taken out of service from the database and allow for the implementation of other needed service adjustments due to COVID-19. As it can be seen in this service change differential map, ridership continued to decline on Main Street, Salem Avenue, downtown Dayton, Brown Street, and at RTA transit centers. Additionally, West 3rd Street in Germantown had greater declines in ridership than during the previous service period. Between March 16, 2020 and the end of the August 2020 service period, COVID-19 had reduced weekday daily average boardings by 42% of the September 2019 service period. The largest reduction was in the month of April, where ridership was down 53% of April 2019. The areas most heavily impacted were West Dayton and downtown Dayton. This service change differential map shows the difference between the September 2019 service period and the April 2020 service period. This map comparison demonstrates the difference between the February 2019 service period and the April 2020 service period in terms of the weekday daily average boardings. During the April 2020 service period, several locations had a significant rise in ridership. These included Riverview Avenue, Walmart on Dorothy Lane, Meyer on State Route 48, and the Dayton VA Medical Center. The August 2020 service period is to run from September 30th until January 21st, 2021. However, for the purposes of this presentation, the data range used in here was from September 30th until October 8th, 2020. Ridership is still declining at many bus stops in RTA's service area during the August 2020 service period. However, these losses are much lower than the previous two service periods. Comparatively, Weekday daily average boardings are up 9.2% from the April 2020 service period. However, they are still much lower than the September 2019 service period, down by 36.7%. Currently, the August 2020 service period has seen increases in ridership system-wide when compared to the April 2020 service period. The locations with the highest increases include downtown Dayton, Brown Street, Miller Lane, the South Hub, the Northwest Hub, the Dayton VA Center, and Wyoming Street. COVID-19's impact on the Dayton region, RTA's riders, and services has been significant and has changed the way all of us live and conduct our daily lives. Future plans for monitoring and trying to understand COVID-19's impact on the RTA include continued monitoring of the weekly and monthly changes in ridership, as well as conducting another impact analysis at the end of the August 2020 service period in January 2021. Thank you for your time and attention, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email Daniel Bloomingdale at dbloomingdale@greaterdaytonrta.org.